This is the fifth video, and that covers instructions, really basic instructions on what you need to know to be able to be proficient in Excel at work. And it's also super useful for you in school also. I'm titling this in the education area number 5, and I titled it Popular Functions in Excel. And again, you're going to be going back to Excel school by reviewing the information in this video. You definitely should have viewed the first 4 videos before looking at this one. This video is going to show you how to access the most common functions in Excel. And you recognize that they're going to work on your iPad Pro, they're going to work on your PC or your MacBook, whatever you choose to use. All of the videos that I have posted you can find if you key in the address that I'm showing here. If you do that, you'll have a list of all of the videos. What's super important to me is for you to click that subscribe button and then the little bell up in the upper right-hand side so you can be part of the channel that I have put together. And as a subscriber, as new videos are posted, you're going to be getting them right away. And so you're going to be ahead of the game by doing that. In this video, we're going to take a look at using Excel and using some of the built-in functions or formulas that are part of Excel that are going to help you to do mathematical calculations in many cases and make your life a lot easier. If you look at the top menu row, you'll see that the home field is now highlighted. And if we move over to the formulas one and tap on that, a second line opens with the formulas menu, starting with auto sum. If you take financial and highlight it, you'll see that a drop-down menu shows you a whole bunch of financial functions that are built into Excel. And you work for an accounting firm, that's something you might use all of the time. Depending on the kind of work you're trying to do with Excel, this could be a great tool to have these financial formulas built into Excel. Next to that, it says logical, and you can see that there are other formulas that are under the heading of logical that you may use. And again, this particular one is for more complex formulas, and it's something you're probably not going to be using, certainly not right away. Now we're going to skip over to Math and Trig and tap on that. And again, if what you're trying to do in Excel are math and or trig problems, the functions or formulas in this area are going to be most helpful to you. Next to that is statistics items. If you're taking statistics in school, this is a godsend. It'll make things that would take 45 minutes or an hour, something that can be done in 2 or 3 clicks. You'll love it once you get used to it, if that's what you're trying to use Excel for. Next to that are engineering functions. And here again, if you're in an engineering firm and you're doing this type of work, these functions and formulas will help you. Next to that is just information stuff. And again, depending on what it is you're doing, very helpful stuff. Database stuff is after that, and various formulas in the database area are there. And then the last one that's shown here is compatibility. So all of these things are very useful tools that you're going to have the opportunity to use in a way that's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, please understand, if you're doing this on a PC or a MacBook, the second heading line, the top heading line that says formulas, that's still going to be the same. But the second line Instead of having the little symbol for statistics and the little symbol for database or compatibility, it's going to actually spell out the words for you. Same information, just giving it to you in a way that makes it easier for you to use. So now, with that hopefully filed away in your brain, don't let it clog up your head, and don't let it create a situation where you think, oh, this is going to be terribly complicated, and how will I ever do it? Because when we move forward here, you'll see that this is going to be very easy stuff for you to be able to do using Excel, because as you'll see, Excel is going to do a lot of the choosing for you. Okay, you saw that there's a whole bunch of different functions available to you when you're using Excel, whether it's on your iPad or a PC or a Mac or whatever. And we're going to look at some of the more popular ones in a minute or two. But I wanted to start out by just taking probably the most common one, which is the function in Excel that allows you to total the numbers in any column, or frankly in multiple columns if you want to get a little fancy as we go forward with Excel. But let's just start up and total the numbers in this column. Well, the function to do that is called sum. So I'm going to decide to put the sum in the column that is next to the word total that I've already put in there. So in order to do that, I'm going to key in an equal sign, and I'm going to start typing the word sum. When I hit the S, the first letter, a drop-down menu opens showing me all of the different functions available to me that start with the letter S. And you can see it's a very long list. But I want to make it easy for myself, and I don't want to just look at the whole list. So I'm going to put in the second letter, the U, in sum, and now you'll see the list is showing me just the items that start SU. And the third item on the list is what I'm looking for, sum. I tap that, and it asks me to highlight the numbers I want to add up. So I'm going to tap the 235 with my finger, as I just did. I'm going to grab the dot in the lower right-hand corner and drag it down to all of the different cells in that column. When I'm happy that I've highlighted everything that I want to add up, I hit the green check. And it tells me that the total of this column is 5,761. What's key here is I had to know that in order to add up that column, that the function to use was sum. But it's something you'll get used to very quickly when you start using Excel on a regular basis. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move ahead. We're going to use the same data numbers, as you'll see, and we'll take a look at a handful, not a whole hell of a lot, of other functions in Excel that most people find that they're using on a regular basis. This spreadsheet represents some of the more popular functions that exist within Excel. And these are just nothing more than shortcut ways for you to identify numbers that are part of a database. Very helpful when you're working in statistics, but in a lot of other things also. Now, what I've done here is I have listed these things in alphabetical order, which is the particular reason that the largest number goes first. The data column, column C, as you'll see, just contains some miscellaneous data. And let's just take the first one that is listed there as an example. It's asking for the largest number. Now there's a relatively small number of numbers in this list, and you could just look at the list of numbers in the column that's labeled data, and you would see that the largest number that's there is 827. But imagine, if you will, if you had a sheet that had 10,000 numbers or 20,000 numbers, and you wanted to be able to find the largest number in the fastest way possible. So if we move over to the equals answers column and start out by keying in equals, and you'll notice that the code to find the largest number is max. And if we said equal max, just like that, and selected max from the drop-down menu, it asks us what is the group of numbers we want analyzed. And we want to analyze from 235 all the way down to the end. And so you look now and you will see that I've entered max as the function I want to identify. To find the largest number, I've highlighted all the numbers in the data set, and when I'm happy that I've got them all right, I'm going to select the green check in the upper right-hand corner. And you'll notice, hopefully the right answer, 827 is the largest number in that column that's labeled data. The next one is one that's used much more often than most of the others. It's called mean. And mean is nothing more than the simple average of all of the numbers. And once again, we'll start out. We'll go to the second column here. We'll key in equal. And we start typing average. And as we do that, the drop-down menu gives us a lot of choices. We'll select average. Again, we will highlight all of the data. And when we hit the green check, it'll tell us that the average of all of the numbers in that list is 523.73. Now, I have already used from a previous video, if you will, the way to make sure that the answer column is only 2 decimal places. And if you want to go back and refresh your memory on how I did that, you can. But for the purpose of this exercise, all of our answers will be expressed to 2 decimal places. Median is the next one. And median just means it's the number in the middle. So again, we will key in equal and start typing the word median. You'll see in the drop-down menu, it shows up. Once again, we will just highlight all of the data. And when we're happy that it's all highlighted, we'll select the green check and it'll tell us that the median number is 555. Mode indicates the number, if any, that appears in the data set most often. You don't always get a mode, and sometimes you might have 2 modes where the same number appears more than any others, and there's 2 or more of them. But in this case, it just so happens that there's only 1. And so we're going to say equal, and we're going to start typing the word mode, and when we do, it comes in the drop-down menu. We'll select it. Once again, we will highlight all of the data, and when we're happy that it's highlighted properly, we'll find out that the mode is 436. If you look at the data, you'll see, yeah, 436 is there 2 times, and none of the others are there more than once. Next is power. This gives you the ability to raise any number to any power. In this case, I'm just going to pick a number. Let's say I want to raise the number 3 to the 3rd power. What does that mean? 3 to the 3rd power is 3 times 3 times 3. And we could do that in our head. Maybe 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. But for illustration purposes, let's put in equal, put in power, select power. The number we want is 3, and the power we want to raise it to is the 3rd power. We're happy with that. We hit the green check, and it tells us 27. Now, we could have used any of the numbers in the data set if we wanted to raise it to a power, but for this purpose, we just use 3 because it's an easy calculation. Next, it's asking us for the smallest number, and it's obvious in looking at the data that the smallest number there is 43. But again, what if we had thousands of numbers? So we are going to key in equal, And we're going to use the code min, start typing min, select that, highlight all the data. And when we're happy that it's highlighted properly, we'll select the green check and it'll tell us that min is 43. The smallest number is 43. Next is to take the square root. You can take the square root of any number. In this case, let's just take the square root of the first number in the database, which is 235. So we're going to put in equal, start typing square root, select it. The number we want the square root of is 235. Now I can enter 235 if I want, or if I know that it's this number here, I could just select it. Either way, I'll get the same answer. Tells me that the square root of 235 is 15.33. Standard deviation is used all of the time in statistics along with variance. And so we're going to say equal, and we start typing. You'll see that the code there is STDEV. So we'll say equal ST. We'll select STDEV. We will highlight all of the numbers. We'll hit the green check, and it'll tell us that the standard deviation is 229.79. Now we're going to go for the variance of those numbers. And we're going to say equals VAR. We'll select variance, and again, we will highlight all of these numbers. And then we will hit the green check, and it tells us that the variance of these numbers is 52,802.22. Now, just as a point of information, the standard deviation of a number set like this is equal to the square root of the variance. So if we wanted to, I'm going to go alongside standard deviation, and I could put it any place, and I'm going to say equal square root. And so the square root of that should be the same as the answer that we got. When I'm happy with that, I will select it. Now you'll see that it's a much longer decimal, but in fact it does round to 229.79. Now, it's much easier to just do what I did, highlight the numbers, and ask for the standard deviation, but I just wanted to illustrate that that's possible. The last two here talk about combinations and permutations. Combinations will give you the number of groups that you can create out of a series of numbers when the order doesn't matter. Let's just say that you've got a group of people. The first one's name starts with A, the second one's name starts with B, C, and so forth. So let's say there's 6 people, and you want to know how many groups of 3 you could get out of those 6 people. That would be a combination. So we start typing combinations. COMBIN. We're saying that we have 6 people and we want to have groups of 3. And it's going to tell us that there's 20 different ways out of those 6 people that we could have groups of 3. 20 different groups. Now sometimes the order matters. And why do I mean that? Let's say we have the same 6 people, but we want groups of 3, but there's going to be different responsibilities for each one of the people in the group. And as an example, let's just say one of them is going to be the president, the next one's going to be the vice president, and then the last one, third, is going to be the treasurer. So now the order that you name the people matters, because ABC is not the same as CBA. It's the same number of people, but they have different responsibility. So for this one, we're going to say equals permutations. We'll start keying that in. And we're going to enter 6 and 3. And before I hit the green check, you need to recognize there's going to be more permutations than there was combinations, because the order that we name the people matters. And what you could see, there's 120 permutations when the order matters compared to 20 when the order doesn't matter. So for this video, I'm going to stop here because you've had a chance to look at some of the very basic functions that are available in Excel. If you look at the function list, you would find that there is one heck of a lot of them that are used more and more as you get into various activities in statistics. Later videos will go into that for you. You've just watched the 5th video designed to get you familiar with Excel. Once you've seen the whole series, you'll be able to add Excel skills to your resume. In addition, you'll have the opportunity, after you've watched all of the videos in the series, to take a brief quiz. And taking that and passing it, you can earn a certificate of completion in Excel. You'll still probably have to take a brief exam at a new employer to demonstrate your skill with Excel, but having the certificate of completion will make passing that test that they give you much easier. There'll be more information on this at the end of the series of videos. You can look for other Excel training videos on my website, and the link to get you there is shown in blue and in bold here. The easiest thing to do is to just copy that link and then paste it into your browser. And when you do that, you'll automatically be in a position to see a list of all of the videos that I have posted so far. You can also, if you want, just put a request in the comments section below for me to send you a particular video. To me, the most important thing, though, is for you to subscribe to my channel. Once you do that, you'll get copies automatically of each of the new videos as I post them. And to do that, you just need to click the subscribe button, and then there's a bell icon in the upper right part of your screen, which also needs to be clicked, and then you'll be on the list and get stuff as soon as it gets posted.